What's up, guys? It's Rob from Combat Self-Defense here with Jake from State Farm,
Hi.
David, and Ed from Metrolina.
Yes.
AKA Armchair Violence, Stay Safe Martial Arts, and Metrolina Martial Arts, some of my favorite channels on the platform, here to celebrate the end of the year and just being friends with each other. I will gather these guys tonight so that we could kind of just revel and celebrate being on this platform and being friends. So tonight we're just going to talk about what it's like being here. So if you guys are into that kind of thing, make sure you subscribe and enjoy their channel, subscribe to their channel, and drop a comment, please. Before we get started, let's do a quick introduction in case you're not familiar with their channels, which you absolutely should be. Starting out, Jake, tell me what you do.
I'm Armchair Violence. My channel gives you the definitive answers to all things violent, and I talk mad smack. And also my webcam is terrible because I'm traveling and just using my laptop.
David?
It's like spot on.
Wait, real quick, sorry. Jake, what do you practice?
Mainly MMA combat sports, but largely whatever I want. I've touched on HEMA stuff. I've touched on knife stuff. I will do so again, and no one can stop me. And my channel talks about whatever I want relating to violence, and I'm going to continue to branch out into things that nobody asked for, but I will give them.
Nice. Dave, hit us.
My channel is focused mostly around self-defense and bridging the gap from sport-based combat sports to the realistic street violence and kind of how they intertwine and pulling from each. With random techniques similar to Jake, I just kind of post random things that if it comes to my mind and I want to show technique, here's a technique, give it a shot and go from there.
And then what do you practice? What do you teach?
My main background would be currently jiu-jitsu. I do Muay Thai, I do boxing, and those are probably like the three main that I'm currently training in, but I've got extensive backgrounds in a lot of different disciplines over the years.
Nice. Ed.
Yeah, Ed here from Metrolina Martial Arts, Metrolina, whatever the name is. I run a school here. The school's name is the name of the channel. I teach jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, Jeet Kune Do or Jeet Kune Do, and Filipino weapons or Filipino Kali. And those are the main things that I do. And I make YouTube videos pairing martial arts and my other love, which is anime, plus random technique videos, Jeet Kune Do, things like that.
So I'm really glad you guys are here. The reason I assembled you all here is it has been a very long year on YouTube. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, there has been a lot of ups and downs with keeping up with the platform, keeping content going, making sure I'm not copying all of you guys. It seems like I've had at least 1 week with each of you where we release basically the exact same thing. But one thing I really like about this platform is that I have never felt like any of you or anybody else is competition. One thing I really like about YouTube is that it's a big enough and laissez-faire enough kind of economy where nobody is competition. They're in fact good marketing for everybody else's channel. If you like Jake's style of rants, you'll probably like mine too. If you like the self-defense that I talk about, you'll probably like David's. If you're a nerd, you'll probably like Ed. Like everybody can feed everybody, and if the algorithm treats us right, you will be fed to each of those channels. So I called you guys together because we are all kind of in the same realm. And in a way, we benefit each other. So it only helps that we have this Justice League of YouTubers assembled.
The B team. The B team.
Yeah, Justice League International at best.
Yeah.
Also, I do want it known that whenever we release basically the same video on the same week, it's never my fault because my lead times are horrendously long. I wrote that video 3 months beforehand.
Okay. Actually, this is something I wanted to start out with. So audience, we do have kind of a guideline we're going to be following, but also we're just going to fly off the cuff here. I want to ask you guys this because I want to see what I can glean and get better at. How many of you have a script or even an outline before you start filming?
I have a strict script and I follow it word for word.
I was gonna say, if anyone is scripted.
Yeah, it's clearly mine.
Not in a bad way though, it works.
Right.
Yeah. And I have to do it scripted just because like I get caught on tangents. I'm good in a conversation if it's extremely long form, but if I want to keep something under 45 minutes, I have to script it. And also like I do have an incredibly abrasive personality. What you see in my videos is toned down from real life. So if it's not scripted, I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
My videos are about 70% not scripted and the 30% scripted or outlined. I have ideas on then certain points that I want to hit and I'll write those down. But some of the like breakdown, like the anime breakdown ones are scripted because yeah,
have to with that
stuff I
format.
don't want to miss. Yeah.
I've done both. It's one thing I'm actually is my goal for next year is better outlines, minimal script. Some of the stuff I script, like if I do a script, it's usually like the intro or maybe the outro, just so I can get like a couple key points in there. But I have to kind of be in the mindset and in the zone. Like if I'm teaching techniques, there's times where I'll have one of my guys hold the camera as I'm actually teaching it because I'm to the point, but still detailed enough. And I'm not focused on a video. I'm focused on the quality of what I'm teaching. And then I'll actually get like a good video out of it. So my goal is better outlines that I have to touch upon X, Y, and Z, but still concise it. So I'm not filming these things 4 or 5 times before I release it.
Interesting. I've done 2 or 3 videos that were totally scripted. I didn't like how they turned out. I felt like I was very robotic of it. So now I do kind of like an outline, but my outline, like right now I'm working on a video that is just Muay Thai is bad for self-defense. And the subline is no. That's all I've got so far. And I'm probably gonna film it tomorrow with that.
But sometimes but sometimes that works. Like
Yeah.
there's time and I like when you and I filmed our videos together, like I literally just came to you and said, I want to film something on trapping. No premise. We just filmed it. I watched the video and I was like, yeah, it's okay. And it actually took off pretty well. And then obviously like with Mike's great at just, even if you don't say anything, he's going to bring it out of you a little bit. I mean, he's been doing it long enough. But he and I kind of clicked off each other well enough that I didn't, again, it was the same thing. Is like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, actually, you taught this in class today. I actually like this. Can we elaborate on this a little bit more? So like, we just completely went off the cuff and made 2 videos off something that he taught that day and just built upon that. So for me, it depends on my head, where I'm at in my head that day more than anything.
And also that's clearly the better way to do it. Cause what you guys don't realize is how much freaking time scripting things takes. Like Rob's tried a few scripted videos and it's like an entirely different skill set of making a script entertaining because your instinct is just read it boring. And it's so much freaking prep time. I have one script. I have not made the video yet. I have not filmed the video.
Is this
yet.
the one that you posted that was like 12 pages or something?
This script is 36 pages. I've been working on it for 9 months.
Oh my God. This better be like your magnum opus.
But I will say, I will
It's
say
going to
though,
be about an hour and a half long.
Your videos pop off with these though, because it's one that like, I'll admit I definitely skip around some of them.
Wow.
But for the most part, like I get sucked in because I'm like listening to them and I'm like, it's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, I agree. God damn it. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yep. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Don't. And it's like that bad. But like you suck us in with how you script it.
Scripting it allows me to space that out. So it's like I'm making jokes at certain intervals. I'm saying controversial things and then certain intervals and then defending it a certain amount. And Ed's talked to me before. He's like, I hate that like we have such similar subscribers and you keep getting more views than me. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting 20% more views with 80 times the work. Ed, like you have a better system than I do. It's not worth it.
I will say this.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that like, but you know, one of the things I look at with scripting it is like you can get every point out and it doesn't sound like you contradicting yourself. You don't have to like it's there's an envious part to it. And plus, if you look at how like YouTube, what it's pushing, right? It's pushing those long form scripted videos. Like if you look at Steven Strangles people, right? He went to those, he went from reactionary, like watching Bully Beatdown to making full on documentaries. Philion went from doing fitness natty or not to making full on documentaries. So like these long scripted videos are what the market,
It's what's
at least
becoming,
right now, it's what it's moving to. So I look at that as a skill set. Like if you could do both, I think it's better to do both. And that's why I try to like ping pong it. I'll have a video where I'm going to react to this horrible fight, and then I'll teach a technique, and then I'll have a video where I'm breaking down, this character's fighting style. And then I'll have another video where I train like somebody, but I'll have to script it out. Otherwise I'm just lost. But like some of those require very minimal effort, like me watching a video versus, okay, well, what is this person's like whole fight background based on, et cetera, et cetera. So,
and my thought go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, look, I was gonna say, because that way you have the quick, simple things so you can consistently put out content, and then you've occasionally got the larger scripted things to get people to your channel, which is probably the smarter idea, and I'm not gonna do it.
I mean, I was thinking of for a little bit to do like a more in-depth video like once a week, like I normally do, but then adding like a quick 3 to 5 minute technique in addition to that every week, because I can whip those out. Like, here's how you do an omoplata from this position, blah, blah, blah. Here you go. And put it out there. And it's like my way of doing it. Here you go. But if you want a more in-depth one, but the amount of times that I've done that's been like twice.
That's the shorts. That's what you are the king of putting out shorts based on your videos.
I figured that shit out for Instagram. We can talk about that later, but I figured out that niche, and I'm riding that way right now.
What you guys don't know is that this Zoom call right now is scripted.
Oh.
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 No, if it was scripted, I'd be doing way better.
See, I knew you were going to say that.
I'd be wittier.
If you held up a note card with that line, that's intimidating.
See, okay, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret, and this may or may not make it into the final video.
Okay.
I don't script out my videos, but I do kind of plan the way I'm going to say things before I start filming, like a minute before I'm going to say it like this, because I'm inviting a certain kind of comment from somebody, because I know then, like, I've trapped them into saying this to contradict me, and I'm like, I knew you were going to say that, you asshole.
Yeah. There's a certain like, especially with something for me like Jeet Kune Do, there are certain things that I can say that I know certain commenters are going to say exactly what I want them to say.
Yeah.
It's just it's gotten to the point for me personally where it's like, I don't even want to engage those people anymore because they're not overtly like watching in good faith. And while Jake feeds on that to me drives me insane, because they'll stop attacking me and they'll stop attacking like one instructor ahead of me, but they'll start attacking like other people
like the
where I'm just like
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's
real quick.
cool.
And I do have a gift that I wanted to show off to you,
Yes.
just to make you a little jealous.
Oh, that is cool.
This was a custom birthday gift a few years ago from my best friend. He painted these himself.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why aren't you wearing those in all the videos?
Well, because I don't wear shoes on the mats. I'm not Robert Pattinson.
Touche.
Did Robert Pattinson wear shoes on the mat?
Yeah, dude. When he was training for Batman, he's like standing on the mats with.
There's like a picture of him like standing there talking to like the instructors
Egan, right?
and stuff. Yeah, and he's wearing his sneakers, and people were like ripping apart. Like, as excited as I am for Batman, he broke like the #1 rule about like mat decency or like walking with his shoes on.
And then Egan came out and was like,
afford new mats.
Well, Egan was like, he washed his shoes beforehand. I'm like, no, he fucking didn't. You know he didn't. Don't lie to us.
Well, also, that's not like, we don't wear shoes on the mat, not necessarily because they're dirty, but because they're going to tear the mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm less concerned about the little dirt. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay,
Right.
this was
the dirt off.
This was not in our discussion earlier, but I do want to ask you guys, since I know all of you have thought about this. We've had 6 actors in the mainline Batman films. Make them all fight as Batman. Who wins? Who's our best fighter? Not best Batman, just the best fighter. From Adam West, Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, Bale.
I say it'd come down between Bale and Pattinson.
I think it's going to come down between Bale and Affleck. And my reasoning is...
Ooh, I forgot about Affleck.
Yeah, Bale got in the best shape, but Affleck is noticeably bigger than any of them.
Yeah.
Affleck is 6'4", and no one else tops 6 feet except for Adam West.
Yeah. I will say Christian Bale was huge, so he put on some serious size for that role.
He got big.
It's
Okay.
pronounced Adam Wee, not Adam.
Definitely not.
Okay, I will say I'm not asking for the actor. I'm asking for the actor's Batman. So you
Oh,
got
that Batman, definitely Ben Affleck, and it won't be close.
Yeah, it's Ben Affleck. It's Ben Affleck's Batman, and it's not close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's Batman went toe to toe with Superman, and Christian
he did
Bale's
okay.
Batman was getting beat up by like he was
Joker.
fighting with like randos with no powers.
And yeah, he got beat up by a 5'9" Bane. So
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are sleeping on my boy Rob. I think
well, I haven't
Pattinson?
seen the movie. So
you haven't seen the Batman.
Get him out.
Sorry,
No.
you haven't seen. Like, here's how we get Ed to watch it. It's the Batmanu. It's got a little accent
the
on it.
Batmanu.
The
I'm not
Batmanu.
gonna watch it. No, I refuse.
As much as
Listen.
I liked the Pattinson movie, you have to compare that to like the agility and movement that Batman displayed during like Dawn of Justice and whatnot. And it's not even close. I mean, Pattinson like had a clear jump off a building with his little glide suit and like barely
Messed up.
survived that.
He messed it up.
Meanwhile, Batfleck was out there dodging laser beams from Doomsday by just like grappling from one location to another. And he's also massive. No one's keeping up with that.
That's
Pattinson's
fair.
That's true.
That's fair. Except
Yeah.
I'll offer this counter.
Okay.
Battinson did not stay down. That man was a tank. You would knock him down, he would get right back up.
Yeah, but Batfleck had a dope like Rocky style workout scene in the movie too. So you
That's
know
fair.
he's
Well,
legit.
also Batfleck never got knocked down unless you were at Superman level.
We didn't
Like
see.
the-
Okay. How about this? Batfleck never got his own movie.
Yeah.
Well,
well,
that
that's 'cause
sounds
it was-
like a direct. Yeah.
No, I'll give it to Batfleck. I think he is my favorite Batman. I love Pattinson,
Yeah.
but I think I love the movie more than I love his Batman.
I think Ben Affleck could have done really well. They just wrote his character so bad.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder sat there and went, what's the two things people know about Batman? He doesn't kill people and he doesn't use guns. What if I had my Batman kill people with guns? I'm a brilliant director. I imagine that was his thought process.
Probably not far off.
Yeah.
I respect Zack Snyder as a director, but he definitely did not deserve. He shouldn't have been doing the Justice League. Not saying he didn't deserve. He just wasn't the right person for the job. I'm excited for James Gunn.
I also have a hobby of film analysis, so we can't stay on this topic for too long.
Dude, I have a
We'll
film
bring it
degree.
back.
I went to film school. We'll
No
do this.
flipping way.
Yeah.
You
We'll
two
do
can.
We'll do this
Then
later.
I have to ask this incredibly short but convoluted question. Would you agree that Zack Snyder is incapable of processing the idea of a selfless superhero like Batman or Superman because of his Randian ethics?
Yeah, 100%.
Good, there we go.
Yeah.
We'll do that as like a part 2 video.
Yeah,
of it
we'll
later.
Okay,
Just
so-
me and Rob geeking out over movies.
I would be down to do a side channel where that's what I do because I don't get to talk about nerd shit.
That's true. We should team up and like review fight scenes.
Down to do it.
Done.
All right, David, Ed, get out. Okay, so getting us back on track. Ed, come back. Getting us back on track, though. I do want to know, you guys. We can go one at a time. Ed, you can start us off. What were your top 3 moments for your channel this year?
Oh, that's good. So I think top 3 moments. Well, the top moment for me, well, no particular order, but one of them was the first video with Sensei Seth, Jeet Kune Do versus karate. It kind of set the path of my channel. It made a lot of people upset, and it kind of opened a lot of doors for me in terms of getting a lot of truths that I didn't have access to before. By asking the right questions to the wrong people, it's been pretty cool. So that was definitely a top moment for me. The next one would be sparring Gabriel Varga, because the dude is a Terminator. Yeah.
He's an actual
And, like,
psychopath?
I don't think he's a psych. Like, I
nice one.
really,
A
I really
nice-opath.
enjoyed I've really enjoyed his videos recently where he's commenting on the commentators of his fight, where they're like, he's a psychopath. He beats up small animals or whatever when he was a kid, because he would just sometimes say something where you're like, that's not a normal human response. Like, if there was a point where like we're having dinner and we're like, oh, we should get you back to the room so you can get some sleep. And he's like, yes, I require 7.5 hours of sleep. And you're like, that's very exact.
Athletes do that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And then he was eating dinner. We're all eating pizza and drinking, and he's eating a salad with a chopped avocado. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're just indirectly calling me fat. No, but
No, he is.
I-
He is.
yeah. But like, and I was looking when he said how much he weighed, and I'm looking up at him, and I'm like, I weigh the same as you. This doesn't make sense. I'm like, this is unfair. So that's top two. I'll say my third one. Man. Oh, my third one would be Jake's BJJ sucks for self-defense video and all the hate that I got for it, not him.
I'm really glad you didn't say it was the video we did,
No,
where you got as
No.
much hate.
I
See,
got a lot
like,
of hate for that
you-
too. Which was
I can
great.
create more hate by just you being in the vicinity of me than I can if you're even like in the video with Rob.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited for this one to come out.
Yeah, because with Rob, you know, people were like, Ed doesn't know what he's talking about with Collie. This guy doesn't have hands or whatever. With me, I'm getting messages from like people that run associations that are like, who is this guy? Why is this guy at your school? And I'm like, comment on his channel. Why are you messaging me? Come on.
He literally starts it with like, or it's even in the description, like, thank you for them for allowing me to utilize the space for videotaping. Like,
Yeah.
not at all affiliated with the school. Just simply.
I had to
Yeah.
pin another comment just to be like, the views in this video are not representative of Metrolina Martial Arts or its owners or anyone else that goes there or anyone else in the world but me.
And I because I commented on it because it's at my school, and I just said y'all big mad because that's what everyone was. Everyone
No.
was mad, and I'm like, you're not listening to him.
What
And-
specifically happened was Ed was complaining about the hate that he was getting, and I said, "Oh, do you want me to pin a comment to deflect some of the hate off of you? Like a nice thing I was trying to do." And he said, "I posted a comment, pin that," and it was y'all big mad, and I pinned it. And then like 3 days later, Ed's like, "Hey, okay, maybe we should actually change the comment to something else."
I'm all about giving into that dark side. Just
I know you are.
engagement is engagement.
Ed thought he was, and then the messages kept rolling in. He's like, "Oh, maybe."
No.
Rob's the
Dude.
guy that ignores all the good comments and they're like, dude, great channel, awesome channel. Skip. This is stupid.
Welcome. No, dude,
It
Ed and I
was-
text like every night, and he's like, "What do I do about this guy saying some shit about me?" And I'm like, "Leave it. Let it
I have
fuel
done
you."
In the comment.
For me, it wasn't so much because like randos on the internet, I don't care. Like you have 0 subscribers, your name is like stuffing McMuffins on there. I don't care about you. But it's when I know you by name, I've met with you, I have trained with you, you are very high up in an association, and you're like, Ed, who is this person? Why are they at your school? I'm like, why are you messaging me about this? Like, what is happening? I won't name names.
I'm about to say, name a
But
name.
I've
Call us
gotten
who.
messages. I'm not naming a name, but I got a message from a up and coming YouTuber who has a lot of subscribers, and he was like, "Man, you're getting a lot of hate here," and I'm like,
David, why did you send him that?
so I was just like, wow. So that might be my top moment because it's hilarious that wave of that video affected me. But yeah, those are my top moments. So thank you.
Awesome. Heineman, your top 3.
Number 1 would probably be getting partnered. Just a small milestone.
That's a big one.
Which leads it into part 2 that was only due to a video that Mike and I did that I forgot that we even filmed, that we actually thought we both forgot that we filmed it until I posted it. And it was also one that I did not think would do as well, and it exploded.
It's always that.
Yeah, so I'd say that was part 2. Part 3 isn't necessarily for my channel per se, but more so seeing like some of the behind the scenes of how Mike, Eli, and some of these other guys film their stuff. Yeah, I guess you. Just to kind of see from like that perspective of like, yeah, honestly, you too, like seeing how everyone else films their stuff to kind of get that creative juices flowing. And like, as you said, like none of us are competition, I definitely study and test things that I see other channels doing well and be like, does this work? Can I do something similar with my channel? Does that work in a sense for my channel? Like I started kind of cutting my intros similar to how Mike cuts his intros. And I actually had people comment, they're like, dude, I thought you were Hard to Hurt's channel at first because the intro was similar. And I was like, I'll take it.
And you
know,
look the
like,
same?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
look the same. And I was like, I'll take it. But like finding stuff and like there's times where I'm like, I'll play around with the schedule. Like, okay, Rob, you remember like I was chatting with you all the time about like scheduling.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like, okay, Rob's channels do really well at this time. Maybe I'll try that and see if that works. Okay, this intro works for him. Let me try something similar, see if that works. And so seeing like behind the scenes of how like watching Mike film, like again, not scripted, but like, okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, cut camera, move over there, you move over there, let's change the angle. All right, start again. And like listening, like he mentioned, he never says you guys or anything because he always wants it to be addressed to as if it's one person, which I didn't realize until he said it. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And so like that type of stuff has helped me adjust what I'm doing. So it's not necessarily like a moment, but the experience of working with all these people and like now starting to kind of get into that world with everyone is because I didn't expect to sit here and do YouTube stuff, but it's fun. It's a learning experience. So
would you say you take what is useful, discard what is useless, and accept what is uniquely your own?
Kinda, I think so. I heard someone say that once. I might have been Ed. I think
What
I think
props do you have ready for this?
I think Ed said that. He says this isn't scripted, but
said it was.
Something
I
tells
said
me
it
this
was.
is faded.
Listen, Ed might be the Jeet Kune Do black belt, but I'm the master of the trapping hands here. Look at it.
Verbal
Look at
trapping.
him. Look at him. Jake, you're up.
Actually, I would prefer you to go first because I'm sensing a pattern and I want to discuss it after you go.
Okay, I'm gonna be nice, first of all. I think number one, partnering, like David said, was a big one for me. This channel started during COVID. It was really just a way to stay connected with my classes at the time, just to give my students something to do at home. And then it evolved into people like hearing me talk shit, so I'm gonna talk shit. And then it became what it was, where I was like, I'm doing this every single week. I have a schedule. I'm officially doing what I obsess over anyway. I was watching Mike and Shane and Jesse Enkamp and Ramsey Dewey like every single day. And I was like, if only I could do this. And then one day it was like, why am I not doing this? And then I did that for fun. And then all of a sudden I do this stupid video about the obvious. There's only 3 ways to fight somebody. And it skyrocketed. And then people are like, what if we pay you to do this? And I was like, why aren't you doing that already? So I did that. So that's number one. It's allowed me a lot of really good things, which parlays into number 2, which is where I get nice to you guys. The second thing is like, I get to meet the people that I'm watching anyway. Like, it sucks to say, I'm not saying you guys are guilty of this at all, because I don't think you are. But the truth is, like, for a lot of YouTubers, you get so many messages, comments, DMs every single day from randos, whoever. Like, it's tough to even tell who's not a bot, And at a certain point, you just stop responding because, like, you're not gonna be able to tell. But and again, this is not tooting my own horn. This is just what it is. At a certain point, you see Combat Self-Defense has messaged you. That's a name. That's somebody. So you're like, I'm gonna respond to that. And then now, all of a sudden, I'm talking to Armchair Violence or David Heineman or that guy. Like, I've got people that I'm talking to that I wouldn't have had an opportunity to talk to before. And then top it all off, now I've done a video with Ed. Now I've done a video with David. I'm sure at some point, Jake, you and I are going to do something. We're already talking about doing a side channel.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, doing this has allowed me to make new friends and find like new avenues to talk about the shit I want to talk about. And like David was saying, find out how to do it better too. So that's the second one. And the third one is that it's really given me into the darker side of myself. And that, like, yeah, he's right. Like, I'll look at all the nice things that people have to say about me in the comment section, and I'll find the one.
Especially because you tagged me in all of it. Like, I'm tagged by Rob, and I'll look, and it'll just be like a discount. I'll be like, no, the shit talker. Got it.
It's fun, dude. If I had another talent, I wish it would have been rap battles, because that's how I want to fight people.
Well, you're good with the rebuttals too, like just the simple comments, throw it in there, and then like like you'll either see the person accept defeat or it'll be like, and then you'll just see like this massive essay come from them like next, and you'll still respond with like, okay, cool.
If if you get mad enough at me to send me Ulysses as a comment, then I've already won.
Yeah.
Rest assured, I'm not reading it.
No.
I'm not going to process it.
I did read some of the long ones that you sent me though, that you're like literally just like scrolling on the phone to like read the whole thing and that the guy's writing.
That's what actually kills me, because like I like reading comments that disagree with me. Sometimes I like seeing like reaction videos that are disagreeing with me, or response videos or things like that. But they're so freaking long. Like if I made a 10-minute video and you made a 90-minute response video, why? And more importantly, how? There's not enough content to talk about.
Your people that do the responding videos, your reaction videos to Armchair Violence, that make those 90-minute videos, those people need to seek help.
Yeah, that shit cracks me up.
The first person that did a response video to me is actually like, Kaylin watched some of the video. She's like, no, this person needs professional help. This person's in a martial arts cult, like they're in a kung fu cult. They have no idea how anything works.
The part that makes me happy is when they do like 90-minute videos and they get 3 views.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 3 views.
All of them.
And it's just them themselves watching it.
It's normally like it for Armchair, it's normally him, and then he's probably sending it to his girlfriend, and then I get it. And I'm like, why am I looking at this? And then I'm like sitting there I'm folding laundry, listening to this lady go on about like this cult, where I'm like, why am I listening to this?
I could be watching anime right now.
Yeah. I send these things to Ed because I think they're funny that they exist. I don't expect him to like listen to them, but then he does.
Sometimes, yeah, I don't know why. I hate myself.
So that's the thing, David. I tag you in all my hate comments. I don't expect you to read any of it. Or
I read them. I read them.
Also,
I may not comment.
I just want to say, guys, I do watch all of your videos.
Okay.
And usually, sorry, this is gonna sound contradictory. If I comment, it's because I lost focus at a certain point. If I don't comment, it's because I was like, yeah, okay, cool, I like that. All right, that's good. It's good. And then and it's over. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't say anything. And I know I have to engage. I just forget.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, Jake, stop stalling.
So my top moments, first of all, I do want to point out that Ed's top moments were all about connecting with people. And David's top moments were all about learn skills and new processes. And then Rob's top moments were about status and community connection, which tells you how everyone thinks. And my top moments are 3 of my own videos because I'm a narcissist and that's how I think.
I did this one on one take.
Yeah. Well, really, it's one of them was my Karambit Suck video because it told me that like, okay, I can talk about knives and get response.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was pretty good.
Another
one was my how swords work video, my swords mechanics video.
I watched that like 2 or 3 times.
That was
that was a phenomenal video.
That was the video that made me ask Ed for your phone number.
That was a good video.
Apparently that was a great video and I worked really hard on it, but literally, and like this will come out later, the only reason I made that video is because I'm making a sequel to the Karambits video because I want to talk more about them. And that swords video has to be background knowledge for the new video. So I literally made it as a reference. And I told Ed, I'm going to make a video on sword mechanics. He's like,
this is like Christopher Nolan stuff right here.
Right. And Ed's like, that won't get any views. I'm like, I know it won't get any views. And then I
told Ed, you negative Nelly.
Negative Nelly. No, it wasn't just him.
He just wants him out of his gym now. Stop filming this in my gym.
That won't get any views. You can't come in today.
I knew it was going to be the most technical, dense thing ever, and that it wasn't going to get any views. And I told Ed, and he's like, yeah, it's not going to get any views. I'm like, I know. And I told Icy Mike, he's like, that's not going to get any views. I'm like, I know it's not going to get any views. And I made it, and then it got views. And it doesn't make sense to any of us.
Nope.
But it did teach me I can talk about like not only sword stuff, but incredibly dense, nerdy sword stuff, and people will still watch it. So cool. And then
what I've learned about the platform. Sorry, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, Jake. I'm being stupid.
I was going to jump to something.
I was going to say, what I've learned about the platform is that everybody, regardless of if we're in the martial arts world or music or whatever, everybody loves a nerd. If you can talk about something for 10, 20, 45 minutes, people are going to listen. Doesn't matter what it's about. Swords, have at it. That's all I want to say. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, hopefully that continues because I am guilty of this crime of nerdness. I think my first favorite moment is the BJJ self-defense video because of how much hate Ed got.
Why?
And if you look down below, we'll tag the link to that video. You can watch it down below.
Yeah, there you go.
Please.
It's mainly just because like that was a big video for me. It was my first like big video that I worked stupid hard on, and it was successful. Yeah. And that video also encouraged me to do sword mechanics. I'm like, oh, I can do like a 20 to 30 minute video, and it's not gonna get like being so dense.
I did notice your videos have always been like somewhat long, and then all of a sudden that one came out. I'm like, this is like 30 minutes, but I'm gonna watch it anyway because of like the topic. And then like the next one, the sword one, I think was right after, like you said, and that one was like another 20-30 minute video. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this one too.
Yeah,
but I think that goes back to like the scripting with you. Because of how you word everything, it sucks people in, and you switch back and forth between shit that I agree with and shit that I'm just like, I want to smack you and correct it. And then you go right back. I'm like, nope, you made a good point. I locked it again.
Well, people in the comments have pointed out that I'll say something that sounds on its face just incredibly dumb and extremely controversial. And I'll go through like a 14-step process of defending it until that by the end of it, you're like, maybe it is, I guess.
That's the way you do it, though.
Yeah,
you make people hate to agree with you, but they have to.
Yeah, and then if I had to tack a fourth moment on there, which I do want to do, yeah, I got 3 already, but if I want to tack a fourth one, it would be I got a response video from Scala Gladiatoria, and I've been watching. Yeah, I've been watching Scala Gladiatoria for years, and he's my favorite weapons guy on YouTube, and just like him knowing I exist, that's pretty good.
Senpai knows you.
I will say this. I thought American Kempo guys were the most insular, culty, angry people on the internet.
They're up there.
They're up there. They're high. And
Hema's a different story.
So I'm getting to it. So then I thought it was JKD Kali people. And they're basically the same people. The overlap is very similar.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was jiu-jitsu people. But what I'm learning is HEMA people are mad.
So
they are mad.
They are mad. Back to the jiu-jitsu people, though, I will say they're very critical of not so much the discussions. I feel like the discussions people can get on board with. Techniques. I posted an ankle lock video that I know works. It's tight. The people that I do it to are tapping before I even like do the pressure. I don't think one person actually liked that video. Like it got so much hate online. Like, who is this guy? How is he this rank? What kind of straight ankle lock is that? And I'm like, what? And what aspect? And I like looked up other ankle lock videos just to be like, did I miss something here? And I'm like looking it up. I'm like, nope, covered that. I'm like, I guess it's just the red. But like, I'll post a jiu-jitsu video on Reddit, and it's either people love it or hate it. There's no in between.
That's Reddit though.
Yeah, he's not going to say it. Hold on. He's not going to say it because he's just not. Actually, neither one of you is going to say it. David, did something interesting happen to your jiu-jitsu training recently?
In what sense?
Did you get some kind of...
Oh, I got my black belt.
You got your black belt. Oh, that's interesting. How long have you been training?
Like 10 years.
Oh, interesting. How'd you get your black belt under?
What?
Who'd you get your black belt under?
Mike Sim.
Oh, interesting.
And Mark Vives.
Oh, so you have your bona fides, so you know what you're talking about. Okay. Yes. So those of you critiquing him, shut up.
It's not perfect. Not perfect.
I do want to add to David's point, though. I had to look it up because I put out a tweet. I said, fun fact, if you show why a technique doesn't work well, someone will say you did it wrong. Mm-hmm. Proof that there's different ways to do it and you're still in an accepted variation, still wrong. Yep. Video of a master teaching exactly how you did it, super wrong, go die.
Yeah. So true.
And one more, just because, again, he's not going to mention it. He thinks he's the worst martial artist on the planet. Ed, didn't something cool happen to you recently?
He got his brown belt.
I did get my brown belt, yes.
I was referring to a comment that I left on his channel, but yeah, congratulations, you got a brown belt.
I mean, you did comment, so I do appreciate it. I did get my brown belt under Carlos Machado and JD, who runs the Martial Arts Unlimited YouTube channel.
But we don't know what we're doing.
No. Like I actually don't want to engage the jiu-jitsu community at all. Like I will do videos with Eli, like Eli Knight, and he's like, tell people who you do. I'm like, I don't want to say anything. Like people are mean in jiu-jitsu. They just sit because I forgot. I think I did a wrist lock video because I got my purple belt by wrist locking somebody, and I've gotten a couple stripes by wrist locking people because I hate people that have hands. And you know, I don't want to. And so he's like, Ed, you're a brown belt. You're pretty good. I'm like, no. I just wrist lock people. And it's like, it's really hard for me personally to like acknowledge that with jiu-jitsu because of how like I'll read a comment and then I realize that they'll say this to like jiu-jitsu or Gordon Ryan or whomever, right? They're like, they suck because they're only good at this. And you're like, man.
But it's funny though, because this isn't just jiu-jitsu. This could be striking. I've noticed too. There's levels to all that stuff. Like, and the first time I really clicked to that idea was at the brown belt level, but I trained with some of the Pedigo guys down at Daisy Fresh. And I trained with some of their blue belts and stuff, and I got whipped. I mean, it was like a 3-4 day training session. I was getting rolled around, but then when I went back and I watched the footage, like some of my guys were like, dude, you actually were doing pretty well. I just wasn't used to that type of tempo. So there's difference. Like, here's a guy that, he's a blue belt, but he trains 2-3 times a day. So you're talking 6-8 hours a day, every day. I train a couple times a week. So even though I may know more, there's still brown belts that like on the brown belt scale, there, it varies. So like this is my way of doing an ankle lock for a hobbyist at some competitions. Would I adjust it if I was going for ADCC? Sure.
And I agree with you because it is the level thing. Because I did a Pedigo submission camp as well, and great
instructors.
No, and like I was a purple belt at the time, and I had a blue belt past my guard like I didn't know what a guard was.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, and then I roll with Jacob Couch, who got his black belt recently, and I'm like, wow, I'm supposed to be that in a year? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I constantly have that that imposter syndrome with it, which is.
But once that clicked, I was like, and the same goes with like striking. You could be with like a guy that's brand new that just catches you and everything. You could go against a guy that knows everything, and you can hold your own against them. There's levels to it all.
There's levels to everything.
And jiu-jitsu people especially, everyone but jiu-jitsu people especially don't want to admit this, but athleticism covers for a lot. So if David's training like 2 or 3 times a week, and he's going against guys that train 6 times a week.
Yeah.
And like
it's a pace you're not used to, and I'm sure Ed can attest. They go at a pace that I was like,
right.
This is a different level.
You can be technically better than them, but after the 30-second mark, that matters less.
Well, I was
sparring with a guy. I was sparring with a guy who was like arguably one of the best Muay Thai fighters, one of the best amateur Muay Thai fighters I've ever met. Probably on the West Coast, probably one of the best. But he was out of shape, like good 10, 15 pounds overweight. And I was doing intervals on the rower and the bike 3 or 4 times a week on top of my training and on top of weightlifting. And we were sparring, and like, he was technically beating the crap out of me, but we finished our first round and he just sat down, and he was like, I will not do a second round with you. And he came up to me later. He was like, listen, you beat my ass that round. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, if we had gone another 2 rounds, I would have not gotten up from the chair after the second round, because that pace was insane. I could not keep up with you. And so that's like awesome. People, which like technically he was beating the shit out of me. Like, he broke my rib in like the first 10 seconds. I just didn't stop. Like, it was an accident. I'm not going to say my friend was an asshole or anything. It was an accident. He didn't know. But like, technically he was beating the shit out of me. It was just the pace was faster than he could keep up with. But like, martial artists, doesn't matter what style, don't account for athleticism. And the fact is, it is a real thing. And like, we talk about like how a punch turns a black belt into a brown belt, turns to purple belt, blue belt. Like, athleticism does the exact same thing.
So my dad has never done, I don't even know if he's actually been in a fight, to be honest. I should probably ask him if he's ever
fight him right now.
Yeah, I should ask him. But he recently did like, we both finally did concealed carries and all that crap. So we've been doing all the training stuff. And so I told him, I'm like, you got no choice. I said, I'm taking you to a seminar, not even like how to shoot. I'm taking you to a seminar on how to fight. So I'm dragging him to Craig Douglas's seminar in Ohio next month for a guy that's never thrown a punch. And I'm throwing him in for a 3-day seminar with those guys. And I'm actually going to do video on it from the perspective of him, from the people that like he's in shape. He's not, top shape anymore, but he's also not in shape either. He's kind of like that in between, but I'm going to put it in the perspective of like, here's just your average guy who can shoot really well, who can do all these things, but what happens when you put them in physical altercations that they've never been involved with before? Because it's easy for any of us, even if you don't train, we can figure it out because we study that stuff or we've dabbled enough that we can kind of like, all right, I can get away with this. But for someone that's never done it, I'm really curious to see how he handles somebody just throwing him to the ground or punching you in the face, and like what's his reaction is going to be. Because I agree with you, Rob. I think that's where a lot of people, like, there's levels to martial artists, and then there's levels of people who think they can fight but have never actually been sparring, let alone actually in a real fight.
And even outside of the experience in fighting, I've seen a lot of guys that are good at shooting and could theoretically handle themselves in a gunfight, unless they like have to go up a flight of stairs first, and then they're pretty much dying.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say something like, basically it's like, it's really fascinating to watch like Mike's videos on those Craig Douglas things, because you'll see people there that like are clearly not in athletic shape, and you're like, man, I wonder how it would be, because I thought about doing one of the Craig Douglas things, and I'm nervous based on my athleticism, and I train 6-7 days a week, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And then I look at that and I'm like, oh, I should probably be okay.
Well, he keeps asking me, he's like, how's it going to be? I'm like, it's going to be tough. But I was like, you know what? I put in the perspective of like, when we were kids, he forced us, he's big with, he's on a lot of like emergency response teams and stuff. So like, he's always been big about like car safety. So like, I was forced to do driving courses where they make your car spin out and you have to adjust it and like figure. I'm like, this is the equivalence of that. But if you're going to decide one day that you might potentially have to use a weapon of some sort, then you're going to learn what it's like to be in those situations where you can't get that weapon, and that thing. So I'm looking forward to it more. Like, obviously I really want to train with Craig. I've been trying to for all this year and I haven't been able to, so I'm looking forward to that, but I'm actually more looking forward to seeing how he does in that, because I think it'll be a good perspective for people that are like, yeah, dude, I got a gun. I can blast that target, no problem, or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. What if I grab you? Well, pull out my gun.
That's actually a script that I don't think I ever filmed. I might be misremembering, but it was a script on like, if you want to use guns, learn martial arts first.
Yeah.
Because if you get a gun first, you're just going to be relying on that gun forever. And if someone actually touches you, you lost.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. You look at any of like my recent reel comments, and every 5 comments, it's like, I would just shoot him. I would just shoot him. I would just shoot him. And I'm like, and I literally will say in the videos, like, if you cannot access, or I'll post a clip of a situation where they can't get it. I'm like, if this happens, here are your alternatives until you can get to this scenario.
Never mind that. What about like, if the person that's attacking you is your brother?
And you and I have talked about this a lot, and I talk about this at like the seminar of like the people that tell me, oh yeah, I could defend myself. And I get this a lot when it's when I do like women's self-defense, and they're like, yeah, I could beat the shit out of a guy if they were to attack me. I said, okay, cool. What if that guy's your brother? I was like, what if that guy's your husband, your dad, your teacher, like someone you're close to? Like, could you take their life if you had to? Could you severely injure them if you had to? And then they're like, oh, well, I like, if you can't, if you can't acknowledge it, the gun instructor that taught us, that works with us, made a very good point. He said, he mentions this at like all his concealed classes, where he asks people, he goes, if the opportunity came, are you willing to shoot someone dead if that means saving your life? And he'll get a lot of people that are like, yeah, I can't do that. He's like, okay, give me your gun, then you don't need to be here. Because if you're not willing to potentially, I mean, don't go out looking for it, but if the opportunity is there that you have to do something, you got to be willing to do what needs to be done. It's the same shit. Like, if you're a competitor, you don't train all these techniques just to train them. Like, you're training them so that if you end up in those situations in a match or in a cage or something, you're like, okay, I've been here 20 times. I know what to do.
Yeah. And then you have to add the legal aspect onto that. Because if your plan A, B, and C is shoot them, and some little old lady hits you with her purse and you shoot her, you're in prison now. Congratulations.
Well, I actually just studied a video of a guy that was attacked in a convenience store and stabbed. And it wasn't like a deadly stab, like he's got like stabbed in the arm or something. The guy grabbed his stuff and took off, which by definition of like concealed, threat is no longer a threat. They've taken off. The guy on camera is seen fumbling around, gets his gun, runs out of the store and starts shooting at him, not knowing there's 2 undercover cops walking by who then shoot him down, thinking that he's the aggressor. And I'm like, that's like clear. You just got to know the legality of this stuff. Like that's a whole nother. It's the same thing with like fights, like the street fights these days. I miss the days where you could just knock somebody down and the fight was over. Now it's like you got to stomp on them and slam them to consider it a win.
That's the other really hard problem, is why I like wrestling for self-defense. Because if you knock someone down and then stomp on them, a good prosecutor is sending you right to prison.
Yeah.
So that's the issue I have. I have a Kajikembo black belt, which like I tell people I have a karate black belt. That's kind of true, kind of not true, because nobody knows what the hell Kajikembo is, you know. But that's all of Kajikembo. It's I grab him by the throat, kick him in the nuts, sweep him, drop him on the ground, stomp him on the head. And
That's
I'm
legit.
Like, what is the situation where I get to do that and I'm the good guy?
That's your one. That's the first one step.
Yeah, it is. It literally is.
Yeah.
To quote Jake, it's literally, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's where like the training comes into play, which is also why I've enjoyed meeting with, like, as goofy as Mike is, and I'm sure Ed can attest from this, from like recently being over there with all, like, Mike can fight. And I'm very impressed with Mike's capabilities. Even if it's something he's not comfortable with, he'll find a way. But because of his professional experience, like, he understands the legality of stuff and he knows where you nick that line and you don't step over. And so, like, I've had tons of conversations with him, and then obviously all the other guys that are usually there, of like, you know, and that's what's kind of pushed me to do some of the reels that I've been doing recently, is to like show people, one, what really happens, but two, like, there's a line. you got to follow a strict line if we're talking real life fights.
And the problem is that line is completely different depending what state you're in.
Yeah. If you're not studying the law of your state as a martial artist or a self-defender, you don't.
If you're teaching self-defense, you have to know.
Yeah. You have to know the word of the law. Like, you have to know. I started
looking into like the law, and not just what the law says on paper, but what people are actually being charged with and what people are actually going to jail.
It's insane.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's advice is wrong. This is terrible.
We're going to walk in the gym. What are we learning today? Nothing. Can't teach you anything.
Like, we're gonna
learn break falls.
Actually. We're going to learn some court cases right now.
I don't want to keep you guys on here all night, so I'm going to move us forward with our next question. I'm actually going to throw us kind of a curveball right now, just because I love this conversation. So I just want to know, if you guys had to advise anybody, man, woman, old, young, whatever, they're like, I want to learn to protect myself, what martial art do you recommend they learn?
I had this question today. I don't know if you're asking one. I'm just going to go first because it was fresh in my head. I kind of ask like a follow-up question, because I think it depends on how long someone's willing to train for. So if someone's like, I want to take a few classes and be done, I usually say striking, because I always tell people it's good to learn how to throw a punch and take a punch. I think, like, when people first get hit, that throws people for a loop. If you know how your body responds. And I feel like learning how to throw strikes, you can accomplish enough in a few days. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but you can get the picture in a few days. Grappling, there's like a month or two where it's awkward as hell. So, like, if people are like, hey, I want to commit, and I have another guy that just reached out to me that's like, hey, I need to learn how to fight, then I'm like, come grapple. Because at some point, whether you can strike or not, because if you know how to strike, the other person's probably going to try and grab you. And if you don't know how to strike, you're probably going to try and grab them. So either way, hands are coming on at some point. And if you don't know how to at least, like, even just grip fight, like, that's huge. So I think it just depends on how much time you're willing to dedicate to that training.
So my question, David, then is,
I would say grappling would be the more important one.
Hold on, though. If you had to name a style,
Jiu-jitsu.
can't just say striking, not a category, a style.
No. I would say, I know because I know exactly him. I would say I would still say jujitsu only from the aspect that it's more welcoming and easier to pick up for someone that needs to learn. Like, I agree that wrestling as a whole for grappling will get me farther, and a lot like guys that come out of wrestling and have no jujitsu background can just blow through people up until like purple belt level, no problem.
Yeah.
And again, that's
Generally
more like
speaking.
athleticism, yeah. But I think jujitsu is easier and more welcoming and less intimidating. Like, let's be honest, nobody likes to wrestle. Jujitsu is more welcoming and easier, I think, to pick up out of the two, but it's still grappling. Like, you're still good. There's plenty from jiu-jitsu that people could take and utilize.
I would say wrestling, specifically folk style wrestling, for under the same premise that David listed, but opposite reasoning. I think jiu-jitsu is more welcoming. It's easier to pick up. And I think that's the wrong approach, because you can spend like months in a jiu-jitsu class. You can be a jiu-jitsu black belt and absolutely fold the moment you get punched in the face. You say that all the time. I have never seen any wrestler in my entire life do anything except get angrier when they're punched in the face. Day one in a jiu-jitsu class, you're given baby steps. Day one in a wrestling class, you're picked up, tied in a knot, and put on your head, and you go, oh, I don't know what fighting is. And I think that experience, like that day one wrestling of, oh, I'm a baby and know literally nothing, is one of the most important things in starting a journey to learn to fight.
I'll agree.
There we go.
And Ed, we know, is JKD. So,
Well, that's
Correct.
everything,
Of
though.
course.
No, but if that is your answer, I want to hear why.
Why? Yeah, I'm gonna say it is what is purported to be Jeet Kune Do concepts is what I would say is what I would have somebody do if self-defense was their
Ed viscerally does not want to answer this question.
I know.
I really don't. Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do people never want to answer a question.
No. Well, mainly because I don't want to get excommunicated any more so than I already am from certain circles. But
Okay, Ed, let me give you this caveat. You can say after 6 weeks they can change to do another thing, but what's their starting point? What do you recommend they spend their first 6 weeks focusing on?
okay, so I'm gonna kind of default to. Am I doing this as a business owner, or am I doing this for the better of the student?
For
Give
them
both
specifically.
answers.
Yeah, both. Why not both?
Yeah.
Okay. As a business owner, I want Muay Thai. And here's why. Muay Thai is
They pay you.
easier. They pay. Well, no, they pay me, yes. But it's easier to talk to somebody that knows absolutely nothing about. Like, if I say, hey, this is punching, kicking, kneeing, and elbows, and you can also do clinch work, which is can control the distance, this is an easy way for you to learn to defend yourself. And then you can graduate to jiu-jitsu. The reason I word it that way is because it's just easier to sell. If I have a rando coming in off the street and they just see sweaty dudes all over each other and going full fucking ham, then I'm like, it's not an easy sell to somebody walking in off the street. So that would be normally what I would point people towards as a business owner. As a what's really best for them is everything. But that I can't, and that's why I always default to the Jeet Kune Do concept stuff, because it can kind of mean what you want it to mean insofar as that your objective is truly defending yourself, because you can have, I'm going to get in so much trouble. You can have the clinch from Muay Thai. You can have your grappling from Jiu-Jitsu. You can have your firearms training, and you can have your finger jabs and your dick kicks and repeat them ad nauseum. But the problem really comes down to is that Jeet Kune Do, as it is delivered currently, is not the correct answer holistically. But in the purest form of Jeet Kune Do, that would be it. And that's why I hate this question.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I will say the same thing kind of goes with like Krav Maga. Like, a lot of the guys that are black belts in Krav Maga that have other areas are like, I left the Krav Maga system because the system as it stands excludes a lot of things unless you find one of those instructors that understands all those things and brings it up. And so I'm assuming it would be the same with like a JKD. Like you can have like the traditionalists, and then the guys are like, yeah, this is great, but I've also done this, and this, and we're going to apply it.
Yeah. So
Jake, go ahead.
Okay. There's a lot of things that work on paper and then like don't actually work in reality because they're just not practiced well. And the real answer to which martial art is best for self-defense is some version of mixed martial arts.
I was gonna say that, you
thereof.
son of a bitch. That was my answer.
That's the real answer. But I think that's like cheating the question if that's all you say. Because like you asked which martial art and you can't say all of them.
But this is why I love the YouTube aspect too, just to interrupt Rob, because we all have similar training, but we also have our own training. So like anytime I've met some of these guys, we're on the same point. So that reassures like, okay, I do know what I'm talking about because they say the same thing, but then they'll also give me a different perspective. I'm like, what do you mean doing this adds that much? Like, holy shit, that's game changing. Like there's so much camaraderie yet differences with, just tying it back in channel. Go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say, we're not answering which one is the best overall because everyone besides David is not saying which is the best overall. I think Jake, you hit the nail on the head. It's not which one is the best forever. It's which is the best first.
Jiu-jitsu.
But because I'm a contrarian, I personally, I will swear by, and Ed, you kind of hit it a little bit. I do think the best area of combat to study is probably clinching. So I think Muay Thai has a really good base for that. However,
as is wrestling,
that's what I'm going to get to. I think Muay Thai is heavily handcuffed, no pun intended, by the gloves. Like having to do it all like this, it just gives you so little options of like, it minimizes what you can do. Wrestling, I think, covers a lot of that. However, just to throw a monkey wrench in there, I think judo covers a lot more clinching than people give it credit for.
100%.
Now, the hip tosses, the sacrifice, those are all great. But really, once you learn a reap and a couple foot sweeps, you're mostly covered when it comes to clinching. Yeah. And I'm also with David in that, like, really, you should be learning striking first. Because if you can just pop someone, you're probably done fighting. But I think it takes you longer to get good at boxing or Muay Thai than it would to get good at something like Kyokushin. I would actually say something like Kyokushin. But then the problem is, because you're punching at the body and only kicking at the head, you're missing a lot of options. So actually, and this is a very niche thing to be practicing, if we're looking at judo style clinching and Kyokushin style striking, we're actually talking about kudo, which is
Rob's trying to answer a question on which martial art is best and has listed no less than 3 dozen different martial arts in this answer.
I'm not saying that the best, but this one, and then this one, and then these two.
I'm just saying,
think about this one.
I'm just saying,
Rob's coming up with the longest possible way to explain mixed martial arts.
This is how I got big. Literally 90% of my comments on.
So at the end of the day, if you train at an MMA gym, you're probably good.
Yes, but
yes.
I think if you have a gi available to you for self-defense, having like cloth to grab onto helps a lot, which is why I think kudo, if you have it available to you, is probably the best first martial art to study. If you don't,
I think it's just MMA.
No,
It's just MMA.
No.
Just do MMA and throw a knife in there when they're grappling, and then give them a gun, and then they're good.
I tell people, if you're serious about learning self-defense, you got to spend as much time at training in all aspects of fighting as you would working out.
Yeah, but Aikido is the only street lethal martial art.
That's true.
I mean, it is correct. That is a correct statement.
Of course.
It doesn't work.
Of course.
I honestly do think Kelly McCann is right when you have to spend time doing MMA, time doing weightlifting, time doing first aid, time doing sprints. Those 4 things will be the things that make you good at protecting yourself.
And there is an interesting answer that like nobody says, but you can make a solid argument for it. Of if you could have one martial art, or if you could have one system for self-defense, what would it be? And weightlifting is not a
So-
bad option.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
'cause,
say
like-
Ryan made a really good statement when we were doing the knife training because we were talking about like size, and he's like, when has there ever been a situation where where has ever been a situation where strength has not benefited you in a fight? He's like, if I see that guy deadlift 400 or 500 pounds, why do I want to fight him?
Yeah.
He's just going to pick me up and throw me. He's like, how is that not going to be beneficial? Like, don't be like, oh, well, I do my ladder sprints and I run up hills and I do this. And okay, that guy's going to crush you the moment he gets his hands on you. So good luck.
Did
Yeah.
that guy just lift 500 pounds? Because he's very vulnerable for about 30 seconds.
Now's your opening.
and even a dumber answer that you can still make a good argument for is pure mass. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go against someone that like lean mass, they're the same as me, but they've got an extra 40 pounds of fat. It's freaking hard to deal with them.
Yeah.
The easiest possible way to win fights more reliably
Deadlift
is to
405.
sit, eat, and conquer.
Are you doing a video on this? Because I might write this shit down. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, well, you guys are feel free to steal
No,
anything
I'm
from this. Yeah.
I'm stealing it right from
I
him.
should do a video on that now that I'm thinking about it.
I should do it first.
I'm gonna do one, but I'm gonna do it as I'm lifting the whole time. I'm gonna go like an old school like gym video and just talk as I'm lifting.
I would
And
love
what-
to see you do bro science lifestyle video.
Thank you, bro science. That's what I was thinking about. We'll do that. But all
okay.
fighting related.
Okay. Moving us along because I know we all have to go.
I got
home
a
at some-
boogie here soon.
Next
I got
question.
as much time as we need.
Yeah, we know. All right, next question. 2023 is right around the corner. What do you guys want for your channel? What are your goals? Not just for the channel, but for yourself, for us as a martial artist. What are your goals for next year? David, let's start with you.
If I'm doing goals for the channel, I want to narrow in a little bit more on my niche and do it in a manner like I recently did with like Instagram, because I've clearly figured out what works for that page, and so now
David is an Instagram thought right now.
apparently. So I gotta funnel that over to YouTube, which I have some ideas. Now I just gotta actually like buckle down. So yeah, I kind of backtracked YouTube a little bit and put a little bit more focus on Instagram lately, and it's paid off. And so now I kind of want to do, and again, that's just learning what works and stuff like that.
David, real quick, what is your Instagram handle?
David Heineman 90, because some
Okay.
little shit took the straight David Heineman and
You
hasn't
should fight them.
he hasn't responded to me.
You should deadlift 500 pounds and then fight him.
And send it to him. In regards to like martial artists, the past 2 years I've competed like once or twice. And I dedicated these years strictly to just training as much as I possibly could train. If I was going to do a competition, I would then look for a seminar that was like the same price equivalent, and I would skip the competition and go to the seminar instead. So I want to continue doing that, but I do kind of want to get back into some fighting and stuff a little bit just because I miss it. But no, I want to learn. I'm kind of on like that streak right now where I've been a student a lot more lately and just picking brains and asking obnoxiously question after question after question. But yeah, that's what I'll learn.
Nice. Ed, what you got for us?
For the channel, I want to beat Jake.
Oh,
No,
I don't even want to be me.
yeah. No, for the channel, I want to do more collabs. I like doing that, and I want to, just like David said, I want to hammer in more on my niche of mixing in my background of a Japanese degree and my love of anime. I just have so much fun, even though nobody watches those videos. I have so much fun making them. So I'm going to keep doing that. And eventually somebody might watch it. And then my goal, this isn't for this year, but I want to collab with Jax Blade. If you're familiar with him, he is like the old school anime.
I should have reached out to him.
Yeah. Old school anime YouTuber. But anyway, that's the goal for the channel, is just to keep pretty much a consistent schedule and uploading stuff I want to do and collabing with people that I can meet. Personally, martial arts wise, I'm in that weird phase where I just got my brown belt. So like, that's just going to be there for a while. I'm pretty high up in the Jeet Kune Do space. So, there's that. So probably just, I want to do more seminars. I'm going to try and do some knife control concepts with Eli and Janetti. Just, trying to round out that side of the game, maybe explore some of that stuff.
I highly recommend their classes.
I want to do one for sure. Jake, what you got for us?
As a martial artist, I want to get better at wrestling because that's paying real dividends, and I still suck at it. I feel like I'm the equivalent of like a second year high school wrestler, and I'm still out wrestling everyone. So I'm like, oh, I should keep doing that. That's basically it. And then for the channel, I have absolutely no plan or goals. I'm just going to keep putting out whatever videos I feel like whenever they happen to come out, be it once a week or once every 6 months. And we'll see what happens. I have not put any thought into my channel ever in my life.
That makes me so mad because your videos get so many more views than mine.
Other than the fact that I now know it takes them a year to make one video, so
That's fair.
Yeah, well,
there's a payoff.
It's hopefully going to be like a massive video. But also, Rob, you have more subscribers than me. I don't know if you noticed
Because
that.
of one video.
Dude,
Video.
I was literally
They still
refreshing
count.
it. I'm pretty sure I was monitoring it more than Rob was because I think you were on vacation even during the time, and I was like 4,000, 4,500, 5,000.
He was
7,000.
texting me.
I was
You were
constantly like
actually
messaging him.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I know I can put out pretty good content because I approach
you
it.
put out.
Yeah, I just approach it differently than everyone else, and I have a weird background.
You're not
I
like
have a
other
background
girls.
in formal debate and philosophy.
Yeah, that's what Mike told me that. And I'm like, that 100% makes sense.
So-
for while your channel's
Once I
over.
say that, you're like, oh, of course he does.
Yeah.
Jake, interesting thing for you. I have an associate's in philosophy.
What the
Yeah,
fuck are you doing?
you guys need to make a side channel.
Stop it.
Keep going.
Yeah, I know I can put out like interesting stuff just because my stuff is different than everyone else's. But like Ed's talked to me and Mike's talked to me about like, you know, the metrics and the analytics and like this day and that day and how you post and thumbnails. I'm like, I don't care. And if I do that, it's gonna feel like work, and then I'm not gonna want to do it. Because now, like, I want to make videos, I want to put out content. But if I have to like start thinking about it like it's a job, I don't like work.
That's what
That's
Eli told me.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I said that's what Eli told me about his videos. He's like, Mike's like, yeah, I tried to tell him all these things, and Eli's like, I just make it, post it. He's like, I do the minimal effort to put it out there, and it
Yeah.
works. He's like, I don't need to do anymore.
Yeah, because Mike was telling me like, do you want to be successful on YouTube? I'm like, I want the stuff that I want to do to be successful on YouTube. But
Right.
do I want to do things to make myself successful on YouTube? Not really.
That's like when I tell Tracy, I would like to be in a happy relationship with you, but I really don't want to do the things that require that. I don't want to tell you about my feelings. That's unfair.
Oh
Talking. Let's talk.
More
I don't-
red flags in the Soviet parade over here.
Yikes.
Rob, I do got a boogie here in like 2 minutes.
You're good. David, you can go ahead and head out. We don't need, yeah.
We don't
actually-
need you anymore.
Don't need you.
I will give my answer for the goals in a second. I will jump into the second question, and David, you can answer first. And this might be putting you on the spot. In fact, you do want to do a collab with everybody else in this chat right now. What do you want to do a video with Jake with Ed with, and with me with?
I already did stuff with you. I don't need you no more.
I want to do more videos with you.
Yeah, with you, I would probably do some more. I think you and I were good at piggybacking some. Again, like you and I had like literally a one word, like here's what we're going to talk about, arm bars, and then it would just go off into this whole like atmosphere. I think you and I have very similar experiences and very different experiences. So honestly, I don't think there's any specific video off the top of my head per se. I'm sure we would think of something. Ed, for a fact, I know I would pick his brain on JKD. As it was something that when I was coming up in the ranks, because I came from like traditional Taekwondo and karate and Hapkido, so we incorporated my instructor was very practical, so we did incorporate a lot of JKD principles, but I've never like full on, I'm going to study it. So yeah, I'm sure that I would do. And then obviously tied in with some of the sport aspects of stuff. Jake, I'm sure we would just come up with some form of thing to have a controversy over and debate about, or
Good at that.
something along the sense. Honestly, more so from the fact that I know I have more experience in fighting than you, but you have very good insight on it from like an outside perspective. And so I think it would be good conversations to kind of get it from a person that isn't involved, but hasn't been as involved as I mean, I've been doing it 25 years. So like,
I'm painfully mediocre at fighting. I just approach it different than everyone else does.
but I'm
That's
saying
why I
like
do YouTube.
I'm saying that's
Yeah.
why I like it though, because I'm in it. So like people can tell me something, and even though I might be like, okay, that's terrible, I'm already in my head processing like, well, based off this system, I would approach it this way and this way. Whereas you could look at it from an outside perspective and be like, yeah, in reality, like that guy's twice your size ain't gonna happen. You know, like you're gonna look at it from like an honest, like realistic approach, because you don't necessarily have all that experience, but you're also not blinded to what can and
I've
cannot
got
work.
enough experience to know what I'm talking about, but not enough where I've drank any Kool-Aid.
I've drinking all the Kool-Aid, all the Kool-Aid I can get.
That's a good answer. David, you go ahead and head out. I know Sheila's probably pissed off at us for keeping you all night. I really want to thank you for being here. I'm sure the boys here appreciate it.
Yes, gentlemen. Yes, it's been a
I
pleasure.
think we should do this again, guys.
I would do it again.
It's pretty fun, yeah.
This is a lot of fun.
Definitely.
I think the defenders of YouTube martial arts
Oh God.
is
We're holding it down. We're holding it down.
Sure.
we're keeping it down on the street level.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
We're all
No,
about
we'll
Thought
chat.
of
We'll
myself
plan.
more of as an assaulter of martial arts, but whatever works.
I smell a podcast.
thinking
Yeah.
it too.
Oh, you said the word.
I'm thinking it too. Let's talk.
Rob,
Did I
Rob and I have
produce?
already chatted a little bit.
Let's keep the group chat going. We'll keep this going.
Yeah. So
All right,
all right,
David.
I got a boogie though. Pleasure meeting both you guys. I'll be sure to now leave hate comments on all your videos. And Ed, I'm gonna question every time I see him on your gym now. I'm gonna start making spam accounts. Who is this guy?
Who is
Isn't Ed the
David
instructor?
Heineman.
How does he let these guys? All right, gentlemen, pleasure meeting you though.
Meeting
Have a good
everybody.
one.
See you, boys.
Dude, David said that. But my girlfriend Kaylin actually does have an alt account that she trolls haters with sometimes.
That's brilliant. I'm gonna
Which I
get
love
on
her for.
Tracy about not doing that.
Yeah, Ashley has one too. It's called Ed's left hand or Ed's
Oh.
right hand. Yeah.
Okay,
And-
Ed, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You have never really highlighted your hand. Can you please do it on my channel?
Highlight the hand.
Yeah. When he says he doesn't have hands, like he's
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah.
He's
That's,
got like one finger and then one Ninja Turtle's hand.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Which, like, I will say this: I have traded hands with a man. When he grabs onto you, he still grabs onto you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, a man has grabbed you.
Like I'll have my wrist pinned. I'm like, it's one freaking finger. How is this happening?
It's the strong hand.
Okay. To give my answer to the previous question, goal for the next year. For as much as I say I'm the karate guy outside of Jesse Enkamp, Kaju Kembo is not purely a karate style. So I have recently put in contact with a Kyokushin black belt here in town. So my goal in 2023 is to actually start Kyokushin and officially start the path for an actual karate black belt.
Nice.
That's as a martial artist. The other goal is to make the definitive Kaju Kembo YouTube video.
Okay.
I have gotten a lot of hate and a lot of love from the Kaju Kembo community, which I'm sure you can relate to, about what I'm saying. But the truth is, like, it's not on the map. Jeet Kune Do did blow us out of the water, and MMA made us irrelevant. And I love my style. I love what I learned. But we're just not doing anything to make us relevant to anything but overweight white guys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and change that. And to that end, I am semi in contact with a relatively famous Kaju Kembo black belt that you might know by the name of Mark Dacascos. So
Okay.
I'm talking about possibly doing a collab video with him.
Nice.
That's martial arts wise. That's my goal. I would like to take another fight. I'd like to actually look like I'm fighting in Muay Thai rather than point karate in that one, because my last one I was straight up doing point karate. This one I'd like to get more in Muay Thai. That's martial arts wise. YouTube wise, I would like to do a lot more collabs. I'd like to get both of you and David again. I'm already talking to Jesse Enkamp about doing one. I'd like to get, I'd like to get with Icy Mike. I just want to get more community built. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I think all of us are a family rather than competition. So getting more exposure for not just from everybody else, but also with everybody else, I think is going to be good. Ed, you're coming down, what is it, March, February?
Yeah, beginning of March.
I'm assuming we're going to do another video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would like to do that. Jake, I don't know if we're being totally serious about doing a side channel, but I would love to do it.
My girlfriend and I actually already planned on doing a film analysis side channel.
That's fine. That's fine.
But for the martial arts channels, we can completely review fight scenes.
I would love to do that.
Because that's
Actually,
an obvious intersection that somehow both of us intersect on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ed and I have talked about doing that exact same thing. So even the three of us could do like a fight scene breakdown.
Yeah, we could. Because honestly, knowing like as I learn more and more about martial arts, it ruins every fight scene in every movie.
Yeah.
I can't watch things
movies
anymore.
suck.
I think we could start on this ASAP, like next week, start this.
We can. I'm down for whenever.
Look forward to Armchair Cinephile.
Oh.
But yeah,
name already.
that's my goals for 2023. And really it's just doing more of this, just doing more community building. I think I did a lot of engaging with the haters in 2022, which was fun. It was great. But my goal next year is to build more with you guys, build a community of, because we are the only platform that has ever existed where other people doing the same thing as you is a good thing, not a bad thing.
It's not. There's a big like talk in the business world about scarcity and scarcity mindset, and it's the exact same thing here. If you have somebody that's like, you can't make videos about this, I'm talking about this, then you're in the wrong. You're doing the wrong thing. Like Kevin Lee literally made the same exact video I did, and we used the same exact person in Seth to like help us with a kick. And it's one of those things where it's like, as soon as I heard he did it, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna message him. We need to make it a competition. Right, to where it's like, well, who's going to be the better Rock Lee or whatever. And so like the scarcity mindset with this is not good for growth.
That being said, there is one person that I'm mad at right now.
Who?
Rokas. Because Rokas from Martial Arts Journey is doing his fucking self-defense championship. And combat self-defense didn't get an invite.
To be fair, none of us did.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not high enough. We're not high enough. So unless you wanted to pay $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever the entry was to get included.
That's what I'm saying. None of us.
No one's inviting
discussion.
Rocket Red to the Justice League. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I don't want to toot my own horn. I'm just saying I'm kind of the Nightwing of YouTube. And I didn't even get a message.
Terrible.
Now the rest of this meetup is going to be Rob defending how he's the Nightwing of YouTube.
Because I'm the most handsome. I have the best ass.
All right, yeah, butt comparison right now. Hold on.
All right, drop trowel, guys. Let's all do it. All I'm saying is,
I'm out.
all I'm saying is we should do our own self-defense championship. But in all honesty, I think we should do this 4-way side channel. If Seth can do it, we can do it.
I mean, we can, but you also have to acknowledge that whatever we call it, it will be a podcast.
That's
It
fine.
will be a podcast,
Yeah.
That's fine. If we're literally talking about the importance of long form content and we just talked for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's true.
I get what you're saying, but then there's also the question of, can I look myself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm a podcaster?
You don't call yourself a YouTuber, so
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
true.
Jake.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, you're a YouTuber and literally you don't do any martial arts on your channel. You just yell at people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Jake, I love your channel. I think you're
Yeah.
great, but you have not done a single martial art on your channel. You just yell at us. And I'm like, why is he so mean to me? I agree with him.
What's actually funny is I don't think I've told you this, but I've told Ed before that I'm never going to call myself a YouTuber. I'm just going to say I yell at people on the internet and money happens.
That's what you do.
That's what I do.
Like, I've watched my video. I'm like, why is he so mean to me?
I'm
I
a
think he's
troll
right.
that gets paid for it.
That's just YouTube, dude.
That is. Also, Rob, you said we were going to go over some of the funny, like the best and worst comments we got this year. And
Yes.
I just wanted to remind you of that because I did make a slideshow for it. So I don't want us to forget that point.
Yes, please. If you have a slideshow, share your screen. Let's do it.
All right. Sharing the screen. Hold on. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Come on, host. Oh,
Damn it,
FYI,
David.
I do got. I've got about 6 minutes
That's fine.
before I gotta go.
I'm just gonna say generally my favorite comment are the people who say I am too young to have any opinion on martial arts, even though I've been doing this for literally 20 years. That's my favorite comments.
I can just
people are
tell
stupid.
you. Yeah, I can just tell you guys the slideshow without showing it to you, unfortunately. But I came up with.
You should be able to now. I think I just gave you permission.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see. Wait, let me go back here so I don't spoil things. No,
know.
it still says disabled.
Hold on. There we go. Now.
Okay, now it's working.
There we go.
Okay. So share. All right, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Oh
The
my
comment
God.
awards.
The
Oh my
comment
God.
award for 2022, the best and the worst of this year. First up, we have the Million Monkeys Award, which are comments that are so dumb, a million monkeys typing on a million typewriters still could have never come up with it. And this goes to the two people that said on my karambits video that a karambit could beat a longsword, and they were genuinely serious.
Wow.
And I would have never thought to say that because it can't happen. The next award is the Bad Argument Award. These go to things that are just problems in basic reasoning. My favorite one is you can throw out whatever sciencey mumbo jumbo you want, but anecdotal evidence trumps that. And then also the person, and this is actually a Reddit comment, the second one here, which compared the HEMA community to a racial minority in terms of oppression. And I think that's sad and hilarious. And Ed has left for this.
Ed's gone.
Ed couldn't witness this. The next award, the Are You Okay Award, which is just when people comment things, the only thing you can think is, does this person need help? The first one is on my Rolling with Women video, in which I criticized Firas Zahabi for not rolling with women, and someone called me a good little neoliberal citizen. I have no idea what that has to do with anything. And then the next one is for when I put up a video of me and Icy Mike sparring, and some person managed to get extremely offended that that's not real fighting somehow, because apparently he doesn't know what sparring is. And then I have my favorites. First off, the guy that's very jealous of my life, which I very much appreciate, made me feel better. And the second one is clearly a weird comment, but I like it because this is the one guy that recognized me as the sex symbol I rightfully deserve to be. And that concludes my slideshow.
I like that.
Thank you.
I hate it.
those comments.
You're also my favorite MMA twink.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you.
I think-
question mark?
I think all of my friends are beautiful.
Oh, thanks, bud.
I'm
And
also
I will
upset
say-
that we didn't do this last year because my comments from 2021 were way dumber.
I mean, you could have brought it in. I wouldn't have checked.
Yeah.
Ed, I just want to say the thing you're doing with your beard nowadays, king
Oh,
stuff
yeah?
right there, kingly.
I appreciate it. Drives me bananas, but it ain't going anywhere.
I know, Ed, you got to go.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up, guys. I'm serious. If we want to do a podcast, even if it's a video podcast, I think we should do it. I want to thank you guys for doing it. Doing this. I know David's gone, but I still want to thank him. Like I said at the very beginning of this, we're not competition. We are all in unison and harmony with each other. I think it's great that we're all sitting down and doing this. It's our own version of a collab. If I had thought of this idea in October, I would have said we could have organized an actual in-person collab. I think we should do it and exclude all the people who didn't invite us to the major collab except for Ed. I don't know why Ed got to go, but whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
only
No,
person that-
I think it's a good idea to do the podcast. If someone else does all the editing and all the hard work, I'm totally into just talk.
I think Jake will do it.
Oh.
No.
But no, guys, in all seriousness, like this was a lot of fun. I would like to do a lot more. Tracy's been right here hanging out. Come on, Tracy, right there.
Literally just now.
But yeah, you guys have been a lot of fun with this. 2022 was a really fun year. I think for all of us, like there's been ups and downs. You can come into frame.
Okay.
God, you psychopath.
I don't know what's happening.
2022 has been a really fun year for my channel. I think for you guys as well. I know I've done a collab with David and with Ed already. Jake, I would love to get one going with you. We've been talking about doing like a trip to South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever all of you guys are hanging out that I don't get to be invited to.
Yeah, we're all right near each other for some
I know
reason, and you're not.
it's really unfair. The only people close to me are the karate culture guys, and they don't do anything anymore.
No.
Besides say the way you throw an elbow in karate is the way other people also throw an elbow.
Yeah, for some reason, martial arts people congregate on the coasts.
Yeah. I'm noticing that.
Yeah, east or west coast, and nothing in between.
Except for me.
Except for you,
bud.
Like I said.
Somehow the Carolinas became like this meeting place where you have Mike, Seth, Eli, me, and Jake, and you just got a lot of people here for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why.
Because like me and Ed,
we got nothing else to do but kick each other.
Like Ed and I just live 10 minutes apart. It has nothing to do with anything else, just sheer coincidence.
Yep.
Yeah, the only other YouTuber around me, I think, is a prankster who has no interest in doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Probably
no,
not.
that wouldn't.
You guys are my only friends, and you.
Oh,
Yeah, mixing pranks with combat self-defense is a good way to get sued.
that's a good business plan, I think.
But all that being said, Ed, Jake, David, may he rest in peace. Tracy, obviously, I want to thank you guys for everything. The truth is, like, without the two of you, regardless of collabs, like my channel wouldn't be what it is.
Cool.
Like,
I don't know how I helped, but cool.
Because again, like we said, like somebody watches your video, they get fed to mine.
They get
somebody watches my video, they go watch Ed's. Like we're all helping.
Well, if all the people watching your 3 styles video could get fed to my channel, that would be great.
I'm telling them not to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And then obviously Tracy for all your help too, like filming, being in the videos, getting punched in the face by me. Jake filmed with his girlfriend too, so just be aware you're not the only one who has to suffer. Ed is the only one.
He takes way more views.
Ed is the only one kind enough to not involve his partner.
Is she? She's a camera. She's the camera woman. Sometimes
Oh.
she'll hold the camera, and I cut out the parts that she tells me to. So
okay,
Yeah.
so Ed's wife is his producer.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my girlfriend actually does the same thing. She's actually always behind the camera, and she does she reads every script before I film it, and she watches every video to gut check it before I post it.
So
that's good.
So what I'm hearing is we're all in the same boat where our partner will like look at us like that wasn't good, do better, and we're like, you're right. Okay, I'll do it again.
Mine just tells me how handsome and funny I am.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Tell me how handsome and funny I am.
Bye.
All right, guys. Ed, I know you got to go. Subscribe to David Heineman, Stay Safe Martial Arts. Jake from Armchair Violence, Ed, Metrolina Martial Arts. Guys, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I think we should start our side piece channel.
I think that's a great idea. I'm gonna have to get a better web camera.
Or we can make it audio only.
We could.
Yeah, guys, subscribe, leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this. This is like a 2-hour long video. I'm gonna have to make like 3 videos out of this.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah, I owe you guys big time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you.
All right, I will see you guys next year.
See you later.
Okay.
Have a happy new year.